I'm Kris from Theme Park to Table, cooking up theme park recipes here in my kitchen. Today we're going to continue our 12 days of theme park treats. We are on day number 10 and we are going to EPCOT's Festival of the Holidays and we're going to make their Snickers-Doodle. To start off, we're going to start by sifting some dry ingredients together. I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees behind me. I have a bowl and then I have some pre-measured flour here. Just gonna put this in here. And then we're gonna put in our baking soda and our cream of tartar. And we're just gonna kind of sift it all together real quick. Well, I say quick, but you know, as quick as you can sift. Make it snow a little bit down there. Let me use my dominant hand. That might make things a little bit easier and a little less awkward. Probably should have grabbed a slightly bigger bowl to keep the snowstorm in check, but that's okay. Live and learn. One of those things that I would like to try to do faster, but I just don't know how to shake it any faster to get it to fall into the bowl. So we're just going to keep at it. And we're going to get this all sifted together. Once this is sifted together, we're going to actually move back to the back counter and we're going to start incorporating our wet ingredients together that eventually this will get poured into. We're almost to the bottom and I haven't made too big of a mess. I'm actually kind of impressed with myself, if you want to know the truth. Anytime I sift, things tend to go completely sideways. I'm just gonna get the rest of that through. That looks good. Get that out of the way before I famous last words about the mess I made. That's not too bad. Okay, we're gonna come back over this way. We're gonna put that to the side, and we're gonna start by creaming our butter. And our sugar together. Pretty much the base of every cookie. This on here because that'll help. Make sure it's latched in. Drop it down. Turn this guy on low to start incorporating it all. Once the butter breaks down and incorporates all those loose little sugar crystals into it, we'll turn this up a little bit and we'll get it good and whipped together. If you've watched the other videos leading up to this point, you know that my mixing bowl likes to come loose when I turn on my mixer, so if you see me grabbing it, I'm just trying to make sure my bowl stays locked and loaded. We're going to turn this up. That's a little much. We're going to get this all creamed together. It's coming together nicely. Once we get it a little bit smoother, we're going to bump the power just a little tiny bit more. There we go. And given the amount of sugar to butter ratio we have in there, it's starting to come together to a solid clump, so it's probably about as cream as we're going to get it. There we go. If you want to take a look, you can see that it all came together kind of into a lump in there. I'm going to add in the eggs. And then I'm going to add in some vanilla and some milk. And a little bit slow on the milk to make sure it doesn't splatter back on me. There we go. I'm going to turn this up. This will give the sugar a nice chance to kind of blend in and be a little bit less granulated. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds and then we're going to start slowly adding in our bowl of dry ingredients that we have here. Because my bowl is so big, I'm not going to try to add any while it's mixing because I think I'll just end up with a really big disaster. So I'm actually going to turn it off and see. If you had a bigger mixing bowl or one of the chutes, you probably could add it on the fly, but I don't think for this recipe for me that's going to work all that well. So we're going to pop this up. Try to go where the beater isn't. I'm going to add this in probably 3 additions that I think will be good for this. So there's the first one. I got a little bit of my wet onto my dry bowl. There we go. And when you're doing this, you just want the dry to kind of all become wet before you add the next batch of wet in. So that's looking pretty good. Oh, and then we're going to add in about half of what's left, roughly. And then when this is all set, we'll do one last addition and we'll get it all, oh, nice little puff, like a good distance. We'll get it all incorporated together. You start hearing my mixer starting to work a little harder. And then we're gonna go all in at this point. I try to pour where my mixer is not, which isn't always easy. Sometimes it means a little game of Twister around the mixer. That kind of rhymes. Okay, let's turn this down, turn this back on. It is on the lowest speed, so a little bit of flour kickback I'm getting, I'm just gonna have to live with. As it starts coming together, I'm gonna give it a little bit more. This will help scrape down the sides of some of the flour. Handy spatula, get off as much as we can. Does not want to let go of it. Get off as much as we can. Oh, that kind of fell off nicely. And we'll scrape this down, and then we'll bring it back to the table, and we will start forming our cookies. That's good for now. Bring this back over here. I'm just gonna scrape down the edge of the bowl, get the little bit of flour that's there, mix it nicely. Here, I'll turn it so maybe you can kind of see what I'm doing. And then I'm just gonna grab some dough and I'll make it into roughly 1 to 1.5 inch little balls. Could use a spoon for this, but I do find that when I try to use a spoon, that a lot of the dough just kind of sticks to the spoon anyway. Okay. We'll do like 6, because that's enough for me to show you how we put these together when they're all baked. Okay. 2 more. There's 1. This is kind of a sticky dough. It's meant to be kind of a sticky dough. So, let me just rinse off my hands quick. Dry. Put that in my other garbage. Now we're going to mix together our topping. When I typically make Snickerdoodles, I usually roll my stuff in here. This recipe says to just sprinkle it on top. What I'm doing is I'm combining some ground cinnamon and some sugar together. Just mixing it up. Then it says to kind of flatten. I'm going to try to use my fork a little bit to kind of flatten them. Actually, let's do this. And then we'll add a little extra, but that'll keep it from sticking. Doesn't say to do that, that's me. And then we'll add a little extra topping on once we get them kind of flattened down so they have a surface to sit on. Okay, now we're just going to take a little bit of this and we're just going to kind of sprinkle it on top. My oven is at 375 degrees right now. I'm going to put these cookies in. They say for 8 minutes. I'm going to check them in 8 minutes. If they're all set in 8 minutes, I'll see you back here. If not, I'll see you here when they're all done. We'll see you back here in just a few.
And welcome back. It has been about 10 minutes. My cookies took a couple minutes longer than the recipe said, but I think my cookies are also a little bigger than they intended. I'm going to pull them out of the oven. We'll bring them right up here in front so you can see how pretty they are, and you can smell them. Well, maybe you can smell them. My husband who's behind the camera can smell them, and he's smiling, and he's very excited for these cookies, I think. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take, I washed my thing, we're going to take the tail of it, and we're actually going to kind of just push down the center just a little tiny bit, just a little bit of an indent on these, because that's where our pieces of our actual Snickers bar are going to go, which is why they call them Snickers-Doodles and not just a Snickerdoodle. So we're just going to give them a little tiny push down. Then I'm going to take some chopped up candy bar, and we're just going to pile it kind of in the center. I'm not going to count the pieces. I probably should, because otherwise, when it comes time to eat these, the kids are probably going to fight over which one has more candy bar on it, but that's okay. For right now, we're just going to get these on here, and then we're going to transfer these. We're going to leave them on this sheet until they cool, and then we'll transfer them from the sheet onto a cooling rack. I'm not going to show that part, but that's what we would do at the end. Oh. Those are all stuck together. All that delicious caramel nougat is just wreaking some havoc. These all piled up nicely. I think those look beautiful. And there you have it, Snickers-Doodles. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.